Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our channel, the Achristopats Adventure and Travel Channel. I'm Pat. That's Chris. And we wanted to talk to you guys about something that's been going on across the states that we've noticed. You may have noticed it also with some of the channels that you're following, that people that are full-time RVing and, camper vans and stuff like that, have literally been kicked out of their places. The RV parks have closed, and these people are kind of wandering around. Depending on what state you're in, it's been very difficult for people to find a place to live. You have your house with you, but if you can't find anywhere to park, then that's a problem. So Mr. Viking was going to tell you guys about some of the people that he's been following that have been having these kinds of problems. And I just wanted to say from a personal standpoint that I'm glad that we made the decision to import our RV from Canada into the United States and to buy a piece of land that we could park it on. That way nobody can kick you off your land and say you can't park here or the park's closed or whatever. Now, although we're not in it right now, we have been going back and forth to check on it to make sure that everything has been okay, as you guys have been seeing, with removing the reflectix and all that. So, but I just wanted Mr. Viking to tell you a little bit about what he's been finding out about these people having a hard time finding somewhere to stay. So,
Yes, a couple of the people that I've been following, particularly Adventure Van Man, whose name is Brian. He comes from San Diego, and he travels in a full-size van, and he does seasonal work from place to place. He has been finding an awful lot of difficulty, particularly in California, where they're cracking down, on people who are not domiciled in a fixed dwelling. So after a couple of days of being hassled, he decided he would get the heck out of California. And I believe he's currently in Nevada, if I'm not mistaken. And he's found a nice place to hunker down, because it's not as though we're against the idea of sheltering in place during a period of time and not going around spreading bugs and whatnot. But finding a place is becoming a little bit more difficult. Another fellow I know he's currently down in Texas, Nomadic Fanatic. He was having difficulty finding a place, but I believe that he also has found a place to stay. Now, within the community of RVers, there are a group of people who offer their places. They say, I've got extra space, come on and park your RV on our property and you'll be fine. And so that's one valuable resource. They call that mooch-docking, mooching a place to stay from somebody else. And they're even cracking down on BLM and Forest Service land, basically closing off large swaths of the United States, which are typically available. If you're traveling around and you want to stay, you can just pull off on a side road and set up camp, and you're allowed to stay up to 14 days in any of these locations. And then according to the regulations, you do have to pull up stakes and move 25 miles before putting them back down again. Now, these regulations aren't very strictly enforced most of the time, but now they have people in ranger costumes going around and saying, oh, you can't be here, you're going to have to move on.
yeah.
And they're very not helpful about where to move on to if you're asking, where can I be? So just a word for those of you who are continuing to travel during this period of time. If you have any helpful suggestions, we'd love to hear from you in the comments about where you're laid up for the time being. And in the interim, we want you to be healthy, happy, healthy, and we're doing our best to do the same here.
Yeah. Yeah, like Chris said, want you guys to stay safe wherever you are out there in the world or whatever country you're in, to make sure that you're staying safe and all this. The virus is real. Some of the hoopla that's going on around it is not real. There's another agenda afoot here. And so for those of you that have been keeping up with that type of thing, you'll know that the powers that be are forcing different agendas and things that absolutely have nothing to do with saving lives, literally has nothing to do with saving lives. And, it's a lot of political movement behind this thing that's going on right now. So, but in the meantime, make sure that you're taking whatever precautions you need to take. Now, having said that, as a veteran, let me just say this. I will not comply with some of the things that are being pushed on some of the people, some of the videos and some of the testimonials that we've seen about people being arrested for being in their own car. Come on, folks. There is a lot of opportunistic individuals out there that are just power hungry and stupid, and they're taking advantage of people that may not know any better. And we're just living in a time where you have to be convinced in your own mind, in your own heart, what you stand for and what you will not stand for, no matter what the cost. I'm one of those people. So, when it comes to people exercising their freedom of speech, their freedom of religion, their freedom to assemble and all that, listen, the warning's been put out there. Be safe, right? If someone wants to roll the dice with their life and make a decision that they want to assemble somewhere with friends or whatever, these people are adults. they can make that decision. That's my perspective. They can make that decision. I don't have to be around them if I don't want to be around them. So, if you feel that someone is being unsafe because they're exposing themselves, limit yourself to their exposure. That's all. It's simple. It's simple. People don't have to go to jail because they're sitting in their car listening to a sermon, or because it's just ridiculous. It's gotten crazy out there. So I'm just saying, do you be true to yourself, be true to your convictions. For God's sake, have some convictions and be true to that, right? If you feel like we need to shut the whole world down for the next 2 years, that's your business. If that's what you think, that's your business. At the end of 2 years, I want to see how much food you have, and I want to see how you do it at the end of 2 years when there's no supply lines or any of that, because you wanted to shut the whole world down for 2 years because you're afraid. So just think about the long-term consequences of some of the decisions that some of these governors and mayors are making that are very much in the face of your constitutional rights and values. When you start giving those up for a little bit of security, you don't deserve neither. Just saying.
Yeah, we've been following on the news, and just for your information, we do not listen to a lot of what the mainstream media or the lamestream media
No, we don't
is
get our news
broadcasting. We look at a lot of alt media sources because you get closer to the actual truth of what's going on. Now, just this morning, I was reading that the government of Canada has decided that now across Canada, with the possible exception of one province, they can fine people who are not complying with their orders between $175 and $1,000. Can you say just another tax? I know you can. So
for doing what?
For being outside.
Yeah. Yeah, some places you can get arrested for being outside and not having on a mask. It's really something. And I think the whole thing, first of all, they've already said that wearing a mask does not protect you from the virus. They've already said that. It is so microscopic, it is so fine that it penetrates. It penetrates through a mask. Unless you're wearing one of those military grade masks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that paper thing, it's not going to help you. It might slow it down a little bit, but it ain't going to help you. So, just saying. So what difference does it make? See, to me, from my perspective, it's a matter of control. It's trying to push in an agenda that most patriots ain't going for. I can tell you that right now. They're just not going to go for it. And so, collectively, I don't know what the American people are going to do. From my perspective, Canada has pretty much laid down and said, help us. Whatever you decide for us is good for us. We'll deal with it. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, no. So
now, those of us who are regular followers of our channel probably know that I am a native Canadian, but I am in the United States legally. I obtained and applied for and obtained a green card, which allows me to be legally registered, not citizen, but resident of the United States. And
to work here if you want to.
And to work here if I want to. And if what's going on in Canada, I have absolutely no desire to return to Canada at this point. The draconian measures which they're placing upon people, keeping the seaports shut, the airlines, they're shutting down the airlines, and they're saying that it's likely going to be the end of June or perhaps July before the country starts moving again, and that's just too long. Now we're looking for a return to some degree of normalcy earlier than that here in the grand old United States of America, but the supply lines of food going to the supermarkets is dwindling. We read a report where some supermarkets said initially they started receiving about 90% of what they ordered, then it was down to 50% of what they ordered, and now in some cases and in some parts of the country it's down to 20% of what they ordered. And when you consider that probably 30% of Americans eat at a restaurant on the regular, those folks are now going to the grocery store to see what they can find, and finding these shelves to be somewhat bare. Buy what you can, maintain social distancing, frequent hand washing, wear a mask if you're outside if you want to prevent other people from being exposed to you, and take the precautions, the common sense precautions which have already been recommended, and we'll all be able to weather this thing together.
Wash your hands, frequently. Use lotion because you're going to need it. If you're washing your hands that much, you're going to need some lotion. So anyway, just wanted to check in with you guys and see how you all were doing. Hope that you are staying safe. Hope that you are protecting your rights. It's not one or the other.
No.
It's both. Protect your rights, protect yourself. And so...
And in so doing, you'll protect the union.
You'll protect everyone else. So there you go. We just wanted to jump on and say hello, see how you guys were doing. Hopefully this will be over soon. It seems to be something that happens nearly every 100 years or however many years. So anyhow, I'm not even going to get into the lab created conflict here, but anyway, that's a different video. You guys take care. Leave your comments in the comment section below.
We'd love to hear from you.
We would love to hear from you. When the weather dries up some, if you're in our area, send us an email at our email address, and we'd be glad to see you out on our land if you're in Oklahoma. Yep. So, in the meantime,
and in between time,
keep tripping.